Turn it off. You know, I can be Lieutenant Governor, I can't work a microphone. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. And thank you, Senator Nick Sorley, just not for the introduction so much as for your hard work on all the things that we all work so hard to accomplish together. Thank you very much. And, you know, I don't know, I was kind of hoping maybe we have a little prayer meeting going because we're going to need them next week. When we go into that legislative session, we're going to need a lot of, you know, we're going to be working hard, we're going to need a little good luck, we're going to need all kinds of people like you voicing your concerns about what we're about to do next week. But I just want to talk a little bit about just the lay of the land, you guys, because as Cisco said, you know, this is a year that when they're just going to come after us with every single thing they've got. I read some of those other people's news releases, you know. They're hiring all kinds of people from all over the country to come here to, that have worked on some of these recent governor's races. And they're doing the same thing that they've always done, is they're pointing fingers at what they think we've done wrong. There's negative attacks over and over and over. Have you heard a single new idea from anybody that wants to be elected governor of New Mexico on the Republican side? You hear a lot of talk about what they think about ethics. They seem to have very short memories. They seem to have forgotten that all the Republicans voted against the ethics legislation in the legislature. They voted against campaign finance reform. They blocked legislation in many of the committees. They've made sure that we haven't really addressed it. And even now, they don't have any specific proposals. All they're doing is just throwing rocks at our ideas. Representative Park, who you're going to hear from, has been working hard on the Independent Ethics Commission, the Courts and Corrections Committee, been working with our other folks on that committee to make sure that we're going to have some ethics legislation. They've been throwing rocks at and putting stumbling blocks in front of domestic partner legislation. Something we know is the right thing to do, that we can and should pass that legislation, and regardless of the budget crunch, we should do it this year. And we don't want any excuses. We want no excuses. And they'll make them up, and they'll say reasons that we shouldn't be hearing those bills, but we should be hearing those bills. And they're talking about all kinds of other things that don't really matter to our families. But do you hear them proposing solutions for education and how to improve education? I don't hear them talking about the investments we need to make in education and in workforce training. The career paths we need to be creating, not just for our children in public ed, but for those people who are already in the workforce that need the opportunity to train and retrain and take a new job in the new energy economy. And you hear them beating up on things like film incentives and things like that, but they're not out there on the road talking to people whose lives have been changed. They're not necessarily movie stars. They're those small businesses all across New Mexico who have had the opportunity to benefit and grow their businesses because of the film industry. They might be the supplier. They might be the caterer. They might be in the construction industry. They might be building the sets. They might be supplying the things that are needed to build the sets. But what are they doing? They're talking about running away from the things that are real job creators. And you know, while they've been throwing all these stones at us, I got to tell you that I'm really glad that I've been out there talking to people like you, real people out there in New Mexico. People who are running small businesses. People who are working hard in their school to improve their graduation rate, to make sure kids are incentivized to stay in school. People who are working in community and rural health care, to make sure that front line of defense is solid, so people have access to affordable health care all across New Mexico. In talking to people who have hope and optimism at the core of their being, that's what New Mexicans spirit of entrepreneurship across New Mexico. Last week I visited 9 communities. One of them was Senator Keller's district, in the new international district in the Albuquerque area. And in that district, we talked about what is it that's going to make small businesses successful. But in every stop I made, guess what? There was somebody who had just opened their business in spite of the economy, because they believed in themselves. They believed in what their dream of owning their own business, working for themselves. And they said, and we were there to help smooth the way, to provide opportunities for access to capital, to say you can be part of a wonderful effort in New Mexico. You can borrow money through our micro-lending network, and that was made possible by our legislature. And it's impacted 1,800 businesses across New Mexico. And 50% of those are in rural New Mexico, and 50% are in the Albuquerque-Santa Fe corridor. People believe that the future is full of something to be optimistic about, that the best days are in front of us, not behind us. And you guys, we have a job to deliver that message. You know, these are really tough times, but I really believe we're tougher than the tough times. Small business people, professionals, people who are service providers, healthcare professionals. New Mexicans are tough people. We're resilient. We live in the Wild West, and we love it, and we care about it, and we're committed to it. And we're going to survive these challenges that are facing us today. But we have work to do, and you're here because you're part of some of the most active wards in the city of Albuquerque, and you are good, strong Democrats, and you have lots of terrific, terrific candidates who are going to be running for office this year. And I'm one of them. I want to be your governor because I believe that I have a unique relationship with the people of New Mexico. And that doesn't set me apart, because I think that's how New Mexicans feel. They have a unique relationship with this land that we love and the people in it. And we want it to be a better place. And we want the best possible people in public service. And some of you have heard me say this before. When people offer to commit me to a mental institution because they can't believe that anybody would run for public office in these days and times, they certainly can't believe anybody would want to run for governor when there is no money in the coffers. But here's what's important. The time to step forward is now. This is when it matters the most. Not when it's easy, not when the coffers are full, but when times are tough. And I'm running for governor because I believe that not on my own, but with people by my side, we can make it through this. And we can be a part of creating that future and not fearing the past. That we can create that future for those of us who are working hard and who are going to live here and work here and go in the ground here, and those generations that are coming behind us. We can do it together. But I don't want to take anything for granted. And I'm going to continue to travel. I'm going to attend every county convention I can get to, because I know that after the June primary is over on the Republican side, someone will blast out of that cannon with a lot of momentum, because they're going to have a rigorous competition, and we are going to need every ounce of effort to make sure that in November we elect a full slate of solid Democratic candidates to lead us into the future. I want to be your governor. But more importantly than that, I want you to want me to be your governor. I want you to be part of that history we can create, and I want you to be part of the future we're going to create.